So the last film we'll be talking about today is Anatomy of a Fall, which is a French film, but it's like a good percent in English, and the rest is in French. So I saw this one actually back in July at a film festival screening here, and I knew that it won the Palme d'Or, um, and that it was getting a lot of buzz. And when I saw the movie, I was just blown away, and I was hoping that Sandra Huller would get nominated. I was like advocating for that since then. But what I
Yeah.
didn't think is that, with international films, it's kind of hard to break into the Best Picture race, and it looks like this is doing a really good job of stating its case as to why this could get nominated. When did you see this movie?
Last night for the first time.
Last night?
Yeah, literally last night. I had
Nice.
it on my radar for a long time, and some of
Hmm.
my friends have told me that they enjoyed it a lot. And if I knew what it was about, I would have watched it a lot sooner. I guess I didn't look
Hmm.
into it, but I'm a big fan of courtroom drama type content.
Me too. Me too.
So so I was like, why don't you all tell me? And they're like, we told you. But I thought I enjoyed it a lot last night. I don't know what I was expecting, or I know it's been a lot of buzz, but you never know. People make buzz for a lot of movies, and I think they are super boring. But I found this movie to be like I was very invested in this movie. This is a 2.5 hour movie that doesn't feel that way. There's some movies that are less runtime that feel longer than this. So I just thought it was
Mhm.
it's like interesting story. And I don't know if we're talking about it as if people have seen it for spoilers and things like that. But I just think it's like one of those movies that you have to go out and see.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, I just had high expectations because I knew it won the Palme d'Or at Cannes.
Yeah,
And I also love films about crimes and courtroom dramas and so on. And this is a movie that really gets under your skin, not because it's showing you a lot of like brutality or something. There isn't too much violence, but because of I read a review that said that like this is a murder mystery where marriage is the culprit, and that could not be truer, because it's sort of what gets under your skin is the layers that are revealed with these characters, especially the marriage that is central to the murder or not of the film, that she's being accused of, and sort of like all the darker sides of her character, that
yeah,
make you it doesn't even let you judge her, but it sort of gives you that choice for yourself if she's truly capable of such a thing. And Sandra Huller, I think, gives such a powerhouse performance as a woman who is deeply, deeply flawed, as we learn, but is sort of at risk at losing everything, including her basically her life and her her role as a mother if she loses this case, and her sort of I guess that's like a really powerful theme of the movie. Is like her, I guess, trying to trying to fight in front of the courtroom for her image and how scarred her image is becoming, but also her son sort of like learning to accept her for who she is, despite the messy woman that she is. And um, wow, like the way also the director Justine Triet creates this setting within the house that's surrounded by snow, that we spend a lot of time with, not just because that's where the husband's death takes place. I think it's just such a tense movie that doesn't really let go until a long time after you're done with the movie.
yeah. I totally agree. And I think that at the end of the day, what I took away from it is, did she or didn't she? It's like, if she killed her husband, that's one thing, and if he committed suicide, did she also cause that? So I think that's like the kind of like that was like my takeaway from the movie, and also like just like watching that kid grow up in like with like
Mhm.
so many different levels of trauma of like his accident, and then just having to like listen to this courtroom saga between
Yeah,
his
he was a
parents.
great kid.
Yeah, and I just think that like that scene of the recording that'll be one of the most memorable scenes, and I
Yeah,
think I think that's going to be the scene that like gets this, any like that gets this the award recognition that it will see in the future, and probably like what helped get it, its award in Cannes. But yeah, I was very impressed.
yeah, and I think not only does the storytelling, like throwing in recordings or revealing new things about her past, really elevate the film.
No,
Also,
it's
I
good.
just
I
think,
don't. Yeah, I'm not familiar with Sandra, but I just thought I was like, damn,
yeah,
like
this is the
it's
first
just
thing I ever saw her in.
okay. Good. I was hoping I wasn't just missing her in a whole bunch of stuff,
Well,
but
she was in the
I was
Zone
very
of
impressed.
Interest also, which was
Okay, I
at
didn't see
Cannes,
that.
and then
Yeah,
I saw that at TIFF.
gotcha, gotcha. Yeah, I missed that one, but I just thought she did excellent. And even I really liked even just like the different style. I mean, I'm here in the States, and we watch our courtroom shows and our courtroom movies, but like just watching different styles is always like refreshing. Like
Oh
this
yeah,
this is French court, and seeing the how the attorneys banter and seeing how the judge kind of intervenes differently than our judges here.
yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah.
thought that was like a little understated difference that I appreciated from that.
First of all, whoever the actor was of the prosecution judge is so good because I don't even want to call him like a slimy judge. Like he's great at his job, but you're supposed to hate him because he's the prosecution and the main character is the defense. And he does
Yeah,
a
he's
really good
good.
job of that. Like, you pulled that card.
Yeah,
Like any movie where you're rooting for the person who's accused,
yeah.
that is good. And also the lawyer who's her friend. I think it's a portrait of a woman and of a marriage and of a family. I think that's what makes this movie so haunting. And like you said, it's long, but once you get to the long road of this journey, which is her sort of fighting for her freedom and her name, um, you sort of are like you get the choice between like, do you want to hug her? Do you want to keep away from her? And I think it's wonderful because, like you said, I when I was watching the movie, at least the way I saw it, was about an hour and a half in, I realized that whether she did or didn't do it wasn't the point anymore. And that
Hmm.
I sort of realized like they might not even reveal that to us. And I'm okay with that. Um, and just, like it was more of, yeah, again, was this woman responsible for her own, I guess, fall, for the downfall of her own marriage and her husband's life and the chaos that's now in her life? Um,
Yeah.
or has she just been through it like all of us? Or is it somewhere in the middle? This movie doesn't really portray as black and white, but um,
Yeah, and as well as like just from the legal standpoint, when he talked her attorney talks about that in the beginning, and she's like, "I didn't kill my husband," and he's kind of like, "It doesn't really matter what you did. Like, I'm not here to like discover that. Like, I'm here to like get you to your freedom," and that's like a large part of
like you
like
got to,
just trial work in general, like in crime, in criminal trials. It's like, yeah, for like morality it matters, but like in a court of law, it's like, what can they prove? So like, dude, like I'm not here to like go back and forth with you. So
yeah,
let's
he's kind
just
of
win
like you
this
have
case.
to. This is definitely like a trial of her character, rather than only facts. So it's like you have to see yourself the way they're going to see you
Right.
because you've done all these things that make it easier for people to judge you as a woman.
Yeah.
Um, but absolutely, this is one of my favorite movies of the year, and I think it goes very hand in hand with other great courtroom movies, or even something like Gone Girl could be a great double feature with this movie because that's also like the unfolding of a marriage that
Hmm.
that turns into crime and darkness.
Yeah.
And
It's very much a like
yeah,
beware of marriage type of thing too. It's like if
yeah.
you're married or you're not married, it's like a cautionary tale. It's just like Jesus, like
The whole time I was just thinking like they should have stayed in London. Like why did they agree to move to France? But like doesn't
yeah,
seem like
exactly.
the best life, like living in that cabin there in France. No,
Yeah, yeah,
but
yeah. It was not ideal.
let's talk a bit about Oscar chances then. First of all, I guess harder for international or internationally produced films to break out. But I think again, like as soon as this movie won the Palme d'Or and then I saw it, I was like, Sandra Huller has a really good chance to get nominated for Best Actress, and I still think she does. But now it
Yeah.
looks like this movie has broken out enough where it could very likely get nominated for Best Picture. And they like to get in at least one international film this year. In recent years, I mean, this year
Yeah.
this could be the leading one. Even though France chose not to submit it, I think the international crowds of the Academy, who are very predominantly American and English speaking, I think this could be the one that they connect to most. And also, I think original screenplay, it's a pretty sure bet there.
So France didn't submit it to the Oscars for Best Picture, you're saying, or
For best international film,
oh,
it's
okay.
any
So they're
movie is
trying to
eligible for best picture as long as it's
got
like
it, got it, got it,
over
got it, got
40
it.
minutes. But like they submitted a different movie, but there have been other movies that like didn't get nominated for international film and were still nominated in picture, like City of God. I don't think that was nominated for picture, but it's still like won a bunch of other awards at the
Yeah.
Oscars. Or Talk to Her from Pedro Almodovar.
Yeah, I think it would be, I mean, kind of a snub to not be nominated for Best Picture. I see it
For sure.
on the Golden Globes ballot for Best Picture in a drama, which I like, and I think I think the Oscars need to do that. Like maybe we go away from like a little like stray a little bit further from international versus here in the
Mhm.
U.S. just to like say like, hey, like this is not like to get away from like the token entry like you just mentioned. Like they try to get one in, so it's like maybe this is the step in the right direction where it's just like yeah. If you make a good movie, and you
The
made a good
movie's a
movie, so
movie.
yeah,
Which is also, I think, we mentioned Sandra Huller is also in Zone of Interest. I think that one potentially has a shot at getting nominated for picture now with all that conversation too. I mean, those are two films. She's had one hell of a year that were very beloved and reached like English speaking audiences like us. And I think what the film festival screenings were a big part of it. But I think something about that, like winning the Palme d'Or and Triangle of Sadness got nominated for picture. I think there
hmm
was a path here that managed to make it um, watched by a lot of film lovers in the US and around the world that'll make it safer for picture. The Golden Globes finally fixed it where they usually only make like non-international films eligible for Best Picture drama, but now they managed to nominate this Past Lives and The Zone of Interest for best drama. Which if this is one of the 6 dramas nominated for the Golden Globes, I think it's a strongly likely candidate for the Oscars because in most cases every film that gets nominated in the drama category for Golden Globes ends up with a picture nomination. And I
yeah,
personally don't see it winning any of the categories because even with Sandra Huller, like Lily Gladstone and Killers of the Flower Moon and Emma Stone
and Emma,
are such hard hitters now. There was one point where I thought, okay, maybe Sandra Huller wins the Golden Globe or something, but just with Lily Gladstone being so amazing and acclaimed in that movie, I see getting nominated for picture, original screenplay, and actress. And yeah, that's calling it a day.
yeah. No, I totally agree with what you're saying there. I mean, this movie reminds me of what like a much better version of Marriage Story, which I believe got a lot of award recognition. It's like rather than seeing these two people fight, Adam and Scarlett, like this was like such a unique way to like it's like yeah, we think we're watching like a murder movie, but it's really just like about a relationship. So I just thought
Mhm.
it was like so uniquely done that I hope it gets this even at least the nomination recognition because it's just a tough year. I believe that 2023 was probably the best year for film since maybe 19. So I just think that
Yeah, dude.
it's like a tough year to make a good movie, but like at the end of the day, it's like it's a good problem to have for people who enjoy film. I
This
just
is an
think,
amazing movie, an
yeah,
amazing year for movies. I keep saying that with people, and I said that last year about 2022, and now, you know, this is definitely on my top 10 of the year. It has been since I saw it back in July. And I feel like there's a lot of moments where you could go back and just highlight, oh, that was a great writing moment, or that was a great, like, courtroom moment where, like, the judge or
yeah,
the lawyer said this and that surprised us, or that was an amazing performance moment because
yeah,
she's just so heartbreaking and resonant in this movie. But I think it's the whole film. It's not that she's the only thing going for it. I think it's an
yeah,
amazing movie.
yeah. Agreed.
All right, so that wraps up some great Can It Contend talk for the day. Chris, thank you so much for joining us. Where can people find you all over social media?
Yeah, for sure. Thanks for having me on. My name is Chris Tait, and I am the creator of Tate's Take. All my information is in my YouTube bio if you guys want to check it out and maybe subscribe if you're into my kind of content. But I have my X or Twitter account is also Tate's Take, and then my Instagram link is in my YouTube bio as well. But all that stuff is over on my YouTube channel and Tate's Take. And just like a huge, again, a shout out to you, Gal, for having me on. I just love having this discussion, especially like on Golden Globe Day. It was like very fitting
Yeah, for real. As we're
and three
recording
really
this,
good
is
movies. Yeah.
yeah, 3 films that are nominated for the top prizes as well. And check out the Tate's Take merch as well.
Oh
Um,
yeah, 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 yeah.
and check out our other Oscar themed reviews for movies like The Zone of Interest and Maestro that are now on our page, as well as obviously our Barbie and Oppenheimer reviews from back in July. And we'll be continuing to cover Oscar predictions and so on with more guests on the channel. So thank you again, Chris, and have a great day for all of you watching.
Excellent. Thanks for watching, guys.